Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of the PS2 Collector. And as you know, this week is the 30th anniversary of the release of the original PlayStation 1, which was released on 3rd of December 1994, 30 years ago. Now, to celebrate this monumental occasion, I'm going to review the top 5 rarest PS1 games that were ever released for the first ever console. Stay tuned, you definitely do not want to miss this. So let's start off with the 5th rarest game on the original PlayStation, and this is a game called The Misadventures of Tron Bonne. So this was developed by Capcom and was a spin-off and a prequel to the Mega Man series, and the issue was the game unfortunately did not do well and just became a cult classic. And despite it getting a global release, it had a low print, and due to that it just became a fan favorite and a huge collector's item for the Mega Man fans. And if you want to pay a pretty penny for this collector's item, it's going to cost you up to nearly £500. And in my opinion, the best way to play this is on an emulator. But if you do have a North American PSN store, you can buy for there for like $10. So $10 for a decent Mega Man spin-off, you can't go wrong. On to the next. And the next game, game number 4, is one of the most rarest games to find. So as you know, in the 1990s and the beginning of the PlayStation, they used to put their games in cardboard boxes, and then they quickly switched to jewel cases. That's where, especially in the 90s, where they put CDs in a jewel case just to save costs. But Starblade Alpha was released in both the jewel case and the original PS1 cardboard box. But majority of Starblade Alpha were released in jewel cases, and the ones that were released in boxes are absolutely hard to find. I can't find anything about this game, especially in the cardboard boxes. But if you want the cardboard box version, the original version, you're gonna have to fork out at least, and I'm saying this lightly, at least nearly £1,000. So for me personally, I would get the normal jewel case version. But if you want a rare item and you are a proper PS1 collector, this is an item that you definitely will need. On to the next. And the next game is game number 3. This one's quite opposite to Starblade Alpha, because Mortal Kombat 3 for the PS1 originally came out on the long box because it was an early PS1 game. But there's another variant to this, and that is the jewel case. So majority of Mortal Kombat 3 were released on the long boxes, but if you want the jewel case, you're gonna have to pay up to £1,000, because it was a late, and I mean a very late change for the Mortal Kombat 3 to be released in that format. And I've tried looking on eBay and I've tried looking at websites to find a jewel case for this, and even the long box in itself is expensive, because there are long box collectors out there who want a complete collection of long box PS1 games. So both variants of the game are rare in their own ways, but it's the jewel case that collectors want the most. And the price for this, the value for this game in its jewel case form, is up to £1,000 to £1,500. So lads, if you are gonna go for the jewel case, you're gonna have to pay a huge chunk of change, or you can get the Sega Mega Drive version. It's entirely up to you. On to the next. The next game, game number 2, is a forgotten 2.5D action platformer which is called Klonoa Door to Phantomile on the original PlayStation 1. So this was Namco's potential mascot, and I've got to say it bombed. However, after the release of the second Klonoa game, unfortunately the Klonoa series ceased to exist up until recently. The PS5 released a remake of the first two games, and I've got to say, if you want to play Klonoa at its full potential, you've got to get the PS5 version. An absolute hidden gem. Nonetheless, Klonoa on the PS1 has become a cult classic, and the original PS1 game is a collectible due to its low sales in North America, PAL and Japan. Getting any version is difficult, but the cheapest version, as far as I'm aware of, is the Japanese version, which goes around 30 to 40 pounds, and the most expensive version is PAL, the European region. The game normally goes around 200 to 250 pounds in a jewel case, and you never see it anywhere, and the best way to get it is potentially on eBay. But if you want to play Klonoa, my opinion and my advice is to get the PS5 version. But if you want to play the authentic original release, you're gonna have to pay big money. On to the next. And the final game, game number 1, and possibly one of the rarest the rarest PS1 game of all time is the greatest hits version of NFL Blitz. Now, as you know, me personally, I don't like greatest hits. The platinum in Europe are PAL, and bestseller in Japan. For me, they ruined the cover, but in America, I don't know why they put green for the greatest hits. It makes the cover ugly and ruins it. Imagine a nice cover, but green splattered around the edges. It just doesn't make sense for me personally. But the story is, the NFL Blitz 2000 Greatest Hits version got a very limited release, so there's only a few copies out there, and it's very impossible to find. And if you want to buy a copy, you're gonna have to pay a ridiculous £2,000 for the Greatest Hits version. Or if you want to play the game, you can buy the original jewel case cover for £10. And for me, it's a no-brainer. I'll pay the £10 because for me, I don't like greatest hits. I don't collect for greatest hits, but I know there are few collectors out there who collect platinum versions of games and the greatest hits version of games, and they want the complete collection. And for this PC NFL Blitz 2000, this is going to go for a pretty penny, and it's going to be very impossible for collectors to find. And if you do have one sealed, keep it safe because you're holding a holy grail for the PS1. And guys, that's the final game of this video. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. If you want to know when my videos come online, please click on the bell notification below. Anyways guys, until next time, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care guys.